Hello everyone, and welcome to this special announcement video on the Black Shadow, and no, sadly it's nothing to do with the second Dune movie, but rather our next big competition, the 2023 Imperium Cup, is being announced today. This has been in the works in the background for a little while, and getting yourselves ready for the competition, but today we are making our full announcement. It's been a little while since the very successful Golden Path International tourney, where I ended up travelling some 5,000 miles to cast the final live with CJ, and Glacier was crowned the champion in a pretty spectacular finals day. Since then, we've had the reintroduction of a rank system, our memorial for the very much missed Agent of Zion, and of course news recently for Uprising in Dune Imperium Digital. But, as a community, it's time for our next big adventure, and that is going to be the 2023 Imperium Cup. There is one goal that I'd like to hit for this competition personally, and that is simply to make it the largest Dune Imperium tourney ever held online. The last event might have already done that, but given the insane response that it received, I know that we can do one better. Now, this event will be kicking off on October the 1st, 2023. Folks that have been involved in these before will get a rough idea of how this is going to go. There will be group stages that will last about 6 weeks with knockouts to follow, and the finals of the whole event will probably be not long after Christmas. I can't give specific times due to a big change that's coming for this tournament, which I'll talk about in a moment, but that is going to be the rough framework. It should be noted that all the organisation for this event is going to be done via the Hidden Assets Discord, so if you're going to participate, you'll need to make sure that you've joined into that, as all the groups are going to be sorted out there, and communications all done on that Discord, so make sure that you're a part of that. There's a link in the description below, so that you can go ahead and join that if you haven't already done so. We'll talk about the format for this event in a moment, but if, of course, you are interested in joining the competition, you should know entries are going to be done slightly different this year, and don't fret at all when I say this. Let me explain why we're doing this, but we are going to be using the Hidden Assets Patreon to sort out all the entries. There's going to be running a temporary $1 tier that is going to be closed once competition starts, and no one gets double charged or anything like that, and all the signups are going to be done via there. Folks who are already on the Patreon will already have access to the tournament already, so they won't need to worry about that. Now, there are a few reasons for this change. Please let me explain. Firstly, this is an attempt to cut down on the number of folks who put up their name for something that they, because it's free entry and that sort of thing, and then they don't really intend to do it, they don't show up, and then there's tons of chasing about. So this has happened in all the other big competitions, and doing this should make admin side a lot easier, as chasing up, a few dozen folks otherwise with very little details is pretty difficult, and a bit of a nightmare, really. And out of buck, it's not going to severely impact anyone getting involved. That's not exactly what this is about. It's just a way of kind of helping us to validate what's going on, and so everything can just be a hell of a lot simpler. Also, myself and CJ are not going to be taking any of the entry fees for this tournament. Don't think we're trying to profit off of this. 100% of all the entry fees for this tournament, for the Imperium Cup, will be going back into the prize pool. We are far from the only folks who've used this model for events in the past and currently, and it's worked for them, to ease the already pretty hefty workload for organising the events. So that is going to be we're going to be trialling out, and hopefully it goes fairly well. Now, as for the format for the competition, again, those that have participated in the first Cup or the GPIs will be familiar to how this works. But if not, I'll quickly explain. We will be playing Dune Imperium with the X and MO expansions and all promotional stuff available. The entire lot will be in play. And it will be 4-player matches, and players will start in groups of others of a similar time zone with 4 matches to qualify for the knockouts, and then as we gradually progress to the 2 finals matches, which will hopefully be played live. This ensures that no one is evicted of having one bad game and then being out of the competition, which is never fun, and it's a real drag for a lot of people, and it means that everyone that joins is guaranteed to get plenty of game time for sure. It's proven popular in the past, and I see personally the reason to change it. On that note, when you do sign up for the competition, we will be sending you a link for a very small Google form as part of the organization for this. Again, we look to get everyone's time zone so that I can kind of ban people correctly, so that you're not playing people halfway across the group stages. We made that change at the Golden Path Internationals, and it made matchmaking a heck of a lot easier. So I would encourage you, if you do join, please, please, please fill out the Google form. It's only a couple of questions, and that way I'll be able to organize things a lot more, and I don't have to chase people. Now, there will be a couple of tweaks made for this edition. Firstly, the plan is to increase the size of the groups in the group stages from what it has been 8 players to 10. This is partially to deal with higher capacity, which we've been experiencing recently, but it also means that you will get to play against more people in the groups rather than playing the same people again and again, which did happen a little bit. I do want to make a shout out here quickly to Cryoclasm on the Discord for helping me work out some fixture stats. I was desperately trying to balance the numbers so that everyone played everyone at once. I just couldn't quite make it work, and Cryoclasm came around and gave me a huge hand with that. So huge thanks, much appreciated. However, the second point is the big one, and that is there will be no player cap for this competition at all. In the GPI, as I mentioned, we originally planned 120 entrants, and we filled up so quickly. We had a massive waiting list, and it kind of sucked to have so many people waiting to join a competition, but couldn't do so, and that's unfortunate. It also means that if we want to do and changing our system and doing it sort of via the Patreon, it's unreasonable to expect people to pay like any amount, even like a cent, and not actually be able to get involved in the competition. So I'm making the wise or possibly unwise decision to uncap the event. If you submit an entry, you will have a seat at the tournament, guaranteed. 100% it will happen. This is more work for me at the end of the day, but if I want to make this the biggest competition that I can, it's the step that's got to be taken, although I might regret that shortly after this video goes up. It also means that the exact structure of the event is going to vary slightly depending on how many folks join, but as mentioned, the general idea is going to be the same. Groups with about the top 50% or so of each of them progressing to some kind of qualifiers, and then the winners and then some of the second places of those knockout rounds make it to the next round until we get down to an 8, which will play the 2 finals live, much like we did in the previous competition. Also, like previous events, I will be doing a live draw for the competition a few days before it starts, and we will be trying to cover as many games as we can once every event gets kicking. This is something that I've always enjoyed doing, and a bit of the GPIs, I think I covered personally about like 50 or 60 matches or something. It was a completely insane amount. It was a lot of work as well. I'm hoping, with some tourneys now in the back pocket, that we have a few people who have had a taste of doing commentary as well, so I'm hoping that'll be much more of a team effort. Obviously, we've had that as well with the Salt Throne and the Water of Life Open, where I haven't been around too much to do a lot of the commentary for that, so now that we've got a bigger field of people with some experience behind them, that hopefully will help share the workload, and of course, anyone that's willing to get involved in that would be really much appreciated. Also, hopefully, we will have automated tables running again for the competition, like we did eventually in the last one, which means that players will only just need to enter their games into the database, like it was any ranked game, using the tools that are in the mod, and we can do that automatically. It's all sorted, and that is a massive time saver. I will be posting a detailed document with the rules of the competition alongside this video. Do note that it's not complete as such, because again, I'm waiting to be able to detail the tournament structure. And that was also going to cover a few bits and pieces that was missed in the last event as well. Now, lastly, there will be a prize pool for this competition. Very kindly, Tamaz gave back his winnings of $50 from the GPI, and I also, personally, will be adding in $100 myself into the prize pool, and you can add in, of course, all the entry fees will also be going into the prize pool too. Now, as an extra incentive for you guys as well as for myself, it has been noted that on the LFG streams I try to do on weekly, that on occasion I can get a bit pessimistic about the situations I find myself in. And it's obviously something that I'm trying to improve upon, but sometimes things have happened. So, in an attempt to kind of, continue my path to better myself, and also to help possibly boost the tournament as well, I will pledge at this moment that in all the games that I'll be doing leading up to this event, if at any point I fail to remember what would Orski do, I will give another $10 to the competition, and any folks watching will be allowed to pull me up on it on stream and get me to put into the swear jar. Or maybe I'll call it the Talaxi Master Jar, because damn that card. Now, in the past, we've also had folks donate into the pool as well. Some participating, some not. Some have done it named, some have done it anonymously. And everyone's been super generous that has done so. If folks are willing, again, to do so, there's no obligation by any stretch. Please do contact us. It'd be hugely appreciated. You know, there's little contributions like do help to like make these kind of showpiece events that step bigger, and only helps to just get more people involved with the tournament. Plus, we are also going to be looking for anyone who wants to sponsor the tournament as well. You might remember the last event we did Unfussable Narratives. The very first event was done with Artificery, for example, and we are happy to organise again this year. So please shoot us a message if you've got any interest in that, and myself and CJ will see what we can sort out. Now, as an aside, I'm sure that there are some folks watching this video that have an eye, that are looking at the recent announcements for Uprising and doing Imperium Digital, and wondering what impacts that they might have either on this competition or any future events that we might look to do. Personally, at this moment, it's just too hard to know. Though it seems likely that if we do another one of these in the future, that Uprising will almost certainly be the board that we feature, because by then the game would have been out for a while and people have got sort of experience with it. Direwolf Digital have, of course, also stated that their intent to run events on the Steam platform themselves with Dune Imperium Digital. And while that will probably just be base Dune Imperium to begin with, that might not be the case for very long. The truth is that we are kind of in a period of transition. There's a lot of moving parts moment with new games and new modes and such. And what we're transitioning to, we don't particularly exactly know. But I do know that as far as Hidden Assets is concerned, we will be there to cover it. Now, I'm not saying that this tournament is going to be a sign-off for the current version of Dune Imperium, but it's just too hard to know how the ground is going to look in 2024 and beyond. It would be really cool to be able to have a few competitions per year and them all covering sort of different formats. Maybe one that does, base Dune Imperium, one that's XMO, one that's Uprising, that sort of thing. There's a lot of variety to be had. If you think back to the first Imperium Cup, where Drazo won, and the fact that that was X only, it feels such a long time ago, such as the speed that things have been moving. But regardless, this is going to be a big event for us at Hidden Assets, and I reckon it will be for the community as a whole. These have been very popular so far, and I suspect that we're only scratching the surface of what we can actually achieve here. Myself and the rest of the team will be putting on the best event that we possibly can for folks, and I'm sure it will be a great experience for everyone involved. And hey, if we can get Paul Denham watching the finals live again, that would be pretty cool too. So that's going to do it for this announcement video. Again, all the links are in the description below to the Patreon, the Hidden Assets Discord, all that sort of stuff. And I really hope that this tournament goes well. This is, like all the ones beforehand, we are stepping into a little bit of uncharted territory. And I'm always trying to trial different bits and pieces to try and improve the experience, not just for the guys playing, but also the admin side, because they are usually pretty heavy on the admin side and everything that's going on. So I'm hoping everything's going to go fairly well here. If you guys got any questions, of course, feel free to put them to the comment section. Myself and CJ will respond to them as soon as possible. But other than that, I hope you guys will enjoy the competition. If you get involved, if you watch it, whatever you do. And I hope that you have a cracking time with it. So take care of yourselves, everyone. And I will speak to you all very soon.